Hey everyone, my name is Emma and welcome back to Emma's Story Central, your center for all the best stories on Reddit. I, male 37, have 3 girls, 8, 10, and 12. Their mother walked out on us for another man when our youngest was around 4. My ex still stays in contact, though, and pays child support. A few weeks ago while doing laundry, I saw red spots on my oldest underwear. I asked her if she knew about it, and she cried and told me she tried to call her mom, but my ex didn't call back. She'd been stuffing toilet paper in her underwear, hoping that would work. I explained to her that periods are nothing to be ashamed of, and found some great resources online for us to review together. I took her to the store to pick out brands of feminine products she wanted to use. She picked Playtex Sport because she's a gymnast. After we were done, I decided I should do the same thing with my other 2. My 12-year-old volunteered to be part of preparing them, and we made a whole night of it. It was wonderful, and I learned a lot. I even learned what a menstrual cup is and how they benefit the environment. The other day, my ex called back. I'll usually arrange a video chat and leave the room so they can have some alone time, and when they're done chatting, I'll come back in to talk about boring co-parenting stuff like school, bills, etc. This last time, my ex was furious with me for talking about periods with the girls. She shouted at me that I was sick and perverted. Why didn't I call her myself if I knew it was so urgent? I could have called one of their grandmas, aunts, but my mom has dementia, while her mom and sisters call me a loser because I teach kindergarten, so I'm not fond of them. My ex told me I was being immature and should have just toughed it out for the girls. This really pissed me off, so I shouted back that maybe if she wasn't such a deadbeat and answered her goddamn phone once in a while, she could have handled this. I brought up everything she does that hurts them. She hasn't been to a single soccer game, piano recital, or gymnastics meet in 2 years. Every other weekend when they come home from her house, they go straight to their rooms, only to emerge hours later asking me why she loves her new husband more than them and what did they do to make her leave. My ex responded by saying I should tell them it's not their fault I couldn't satisfy her, and I screamed "fuck you," and she just smirked and pointed behind me, saying look what you did. When I turned around, my 8-year-old and 10-year-old were standing in the doorway crying. It broke my heart. I never shout, so I know I scared them. My 12-year-old stormed in and started screaming at her mom, and while I appreciate her sticking up for me, this is not a battle I want her fighting. My ex hung up before I could fully de-escalate the situation, and let's just say the girls have been given free reign of the ice cream and limitless hours of video games, because I feel so bad. I even watched all the Twilight movies with them, so don't say I don't love them. But in this instance, am I the idiot for shouting? Not an idiot. Have you considered they were crying because of how you were treated rather than the fact you lost your temper? It's easy to assume the worst. Children are more observant than we give them credit for. That your daughter defended you right away pretty much makes it impossible to consider you an idiot. Looking at it from a pure logic standpoint, isn't it better they learn not to expect anything from their mom early in life? Certainly, you shouldn't have lost your temper in front of children, but no one is perfect, especially when someone is calling you perverted for being a great single dad. You also had no idea they were there listening so closely. Honestly, you are way too hard on yourself to even think you needed to post here. Not an idiot. I'm disturbed that your ex-wife thinks it's not your place to talk about menstruation with your own kids. So I'm glad you broke that toxic thought process with your own kids. Good luck. Your ex-wife sounds like the devil that wanted to push your buttons to let your kids see you get heated sometimes. She's toxic, and I'm glad your kids have a chance at life with a good parent. Not an idiot. Okay, you should maybe have stopped the conversation when you found it getting out of hand. But she knew exactly what she was doing. She saw the kids behind you and didn't warn you, deliberately, so she is equally responsible for exposing them to the shouting. She sounds like a terrible mother and you sound like a great dad. There is absolutely nothing wrong with a dad talking to daughters about their body as long as they are comfortable with the conversation. My dear old dad had 3 daughters only a year apart, and we all ended up syncing our periods. He knew exactly what each of us preferred and every month would leave a big bag of sanitary products and chocolate bars in our rooms. Now for the next story. Am I the idiot for ruining both my parents' marriages for disowning me? I am the byproduct of my parents' extramarital affair. Both of them had spouses at the time. My birth mother got pregnant and had to tell her husband as he was overseas when I was conceived, so there was no way I was his. A few months after I was born, they decided not to divorce. I was given to my grandparents on my mother's side to raise with my birth father secretly paying child support without his wife's knowledge. Both my parents had other children. My dad's side knows nothing about me, but my siblings on my mom's side were told that I am adopted by my grandparents. Recently, I decided that I wanted to know more about my dad's family, and I sent a friend's request to one of my siblings and my dad so I could get to know him. Well, he freaked out and contacted my birth mom and they asked to speak to me over Skype. They both told me that they couldn't risk staying in contact with me and told me that they were going no contact and to please respect it and move on with my life. Well, I did pretty much the opposite. I contacted my dad's wife and shared screenshots of our conversations and told her everything. She is now divorcing him, while on my mother's side I told both my siblings, who then went on to tell extended family including her husband's side, so now they are separated and my siblings hate my mother. Currently my siblings on both sides have been upturned, and after the satisfaction has worn off I feel like I unnecessarily hurt them through my parents. Am I an idiot for ruining my parents' marriages? Not an idiot. You didn't ruin anything. They did. Your birth parents have been and continue to be completely selfish arseholes, and everyone deserved to see who they really were. The only people who upended anyone's lives are your parents. You did not deserve to be told to go away or hidden. Not an idiot. Your parents are freaking selfish. So many other options for them instead of just pretending like you don't exist. If you don't want your spouse to find out you cheated, how about not ducking cheating? All you wanted was a little contact with family. They rejected you. Well, they don't get to choose whether your half-sisters and brothers want to know you or not. Maybe sharing screenshots was not the right way to go, but honestly, if you keep such a huge secret from your spouse, you deserve to get found out eventually. Not an idiot. It's really shitty that they would try to deprive you of having literally any family besides your grandparents so that they can cover up their bad behavior. I don't blame you for what you did. You're definitely going to have to deal with the fallout, but at least you can now have a relationship with your siblings. Now for the next story. Am I an idiot for deleting my friends' wedding photos in front of them? I'm not really a photographer, I'm a dog groomer. I take lots of photos of dogs all day to put on my Facebook and Instagram. It's my thing, if that makes sense. A cut and a photo with every appointment. I very seldom shoot things other than dogs, even if I have a nice setup. A friend got married a few days ago and, wanting to save money, asked if I'd shoot it for them. I told him it's not really my forte, but he convinced me by saying he didn't care if they were perfect. They were on a shoestring budget and I agreed to shoot it for $250, which is nothing for a 10-hour event. On the day of, I'm driving around following the bride as she goes from appointment to appointment before the ceremony, taking photos along the way. I shoot the ceremony itself, and during the reception I'm shooting speeches and people mingling. I started around 11 a.m. and was due to finish around 7:30 p.m. Around 5 p.m., food was being served and I was told I cannot stop to eat because I need to be a photographer. In fact, they didn't save me a spot at any table. I'm getting tired and at this point kinda regretting doing this for next to nothing. It's also unbelievably hot. The venue is in an old Veterans Legion and it's like female 110 and there's no AC. I told the groom I need to take off for 20 minutes to get something to eat and drink. There's no open bar or anything. I can't even get water and my 2 water bottles are long empty. He tells me I need to either be a photographer or leave without pay. With the heat, being hungry, being generally annoyed at the circumstances, I asked if he was sure, and he said yes, so I deleted all the photos I took in front of him and took off, saying I'm not his photographer anymore. If I was to be paid $250, honestly, at that point I would have paid $250 just for a glass of cold water and somewhere to sit for 5 minutes. Was I an idiot? They went right on their honeymoon and they've all been off of social media. But a lot of people have been posting on their wall asking about photos with 0 responses. Not an idiot. They took you off the guest list for this without mentioning it to you in advance. You went in with the expectation of $250 to take high-quality pictures, while also being a guest at their event, including a place to sit, eat, and drink, and realistically, you did nothing but follow the groom's suggestion. Either continue being a photographer or forfeit your $250. What did the groom think that entailed? He would get all that work for free, play stupid games, and win stupid prizes. I would seriously reconsider this friendship. Everyone sucks here. This is one of those times where this sub needs the justified R rating. Was what you did shitty and petty? Absolutely. And it's a general rule of thumb to never make big decisions when you're grieving or hangry. But damn, these friends of yours were terrible. Complete cheapskate Oz, and the groom was a groomzilla. There is no pass for how they treated you. But again, your behavior was justified, but still our behavior. I wouldn't have deleted the photos. They are someone's wedding photos. So at the very least, I would have given them a second chance before deleting them. I would have said, okay, I'm done for the night since you won't let me take a break. You want your photos? The charge is now $500 since you didn't provide me with gas, food, water, or a food break. If you don't pay the $500, I'm deleting the photos.